Yo, man. Trippy mirror effect to start. Okay, I'm new at this. Anyway, uh, so computer optimizations. First thing we'll go through, startup options is definitely a great place to start. So Control Shift Escape, um, startup apps. Um, just disable everything you possibly can. You don't need half this shit when your computer first turns on. I just installed that literally to get the webcam going. um, These are the only things I have running. ChatGPT is super handy, alt space, and I've got my thing to go. That was me talking about the bloody limitations of the Windows screen recorder, so I've had to actually use a streaming app for this. So yeah, I had to install this. I borrowed my daughter's webcam. Anyway, moving on. MS config, system configuration. You'll be drawn to startup, but that's all managed in Task Manager now. Older versions of Windows, you do it here, but here you can do services. So hide all Microsoft services. We just want to go through the ones you've physically installed, or if you've got a pre-built computer, which I don't think you did. I think you said your mate helped you or whatever. But yeah, whatever shit's on there from the start after Windows. So you can go through and disable. So see that Logitech Hub, I disabled it in startup, but there's also a background service as well. So I'm disabling that background service. Same as TeamViewer Steam. That doesn't need to be there. I have to unfulfill all the ASUS ROG stuff and that. I do like my RGB, so I've got no choice but to leave it on. Battle, what the hell is that? If I don't know what it is, I don't need it. And if something doesn't work or whatever, I can go back in there and go, oh, that's why that doesn't work anymore. So, but yeah, other than that, that's all good. Leave it at that. Close. Exit without restart for now, no need. Now the next thing, right click on start menu. Terminal admin. It's important that you do admin and not just normal terminal. Otherwise, you won't have the privileges to be able to run this PowerShell script that I'm going to show you. So IRM quotation HTTPS ChrisTitus.com/win quotation, and then that big tall dash thing above the backslash, and then IEX. This is going to launch Chris Titus utility. It's just some mad dog's made this awesome utility that just strips the bullshit out of Windows. So the first tab it opens on like this install thing. So there might be some apps that some people want to install in here that you can just click on and hit install. But we're just going to do the tweaks for now. So these tweaks basically are the ones that gut out all the crap. So I use the standard ones. At any point, you can hover your mouse over and it will literally give you a bit more of a detailed explanation. And then if you click on the question mark, it'll actually launch a website. So we'll look at this. I definitely want to turn this on, dBlade Edge. And if we click here, it'll take you straight to a website that essentially explains all the changes it makes. So the changes it's making are in the registry. And it turns off things like this, like personalization reporting. So Microsoft wants data on you, your demographic data, obviously, and then like how you do your stuff or whatever. Do not track, so it's tracking all this sort of stuff. So it just goes through and guts all that crap out. You can read it at your leisure if you want to. And then advanced tweaks, caution, fairly said too. These ones you want to make sure you know what you're doing. But for me, I like to disable background apps. So that's all your Microsoft apps that aren't essential to Windows working. I disable that. Copilot I don't use. So yeah, for now, I'm just going to keep that disabled. This security thing, it's basically, it's a security service always listening, and it is a bit of a security risk potentially. So we turn that off. I leave all these on, and classic right click start menu. I like that. Remove home from Explorer, and I don't use OneDrive, so I remove that. And yeah, you might want to block Razor software installs if you want. So hit run tweaks once you've done your selection. So that only applies to this list here. That's going to run in the background. So while it's doing that, we're going to run this OO shut up. That Explorer doing that thing and the start menu and taskbar disappearing is all perfectly normal, man. Don't worry when that happens. So I've already run this, so you won't see this. You won't see this, but yeah, it'll come up like this. And I just go action, apply only recommended settings. Do you want to create a restore point? I mean, you can. It doesn't really matter because ultimately, I've done this on over 50 computers with no issues. It only says one setting because I only just recently run it, but okay. And I like to turn, the only thing I don't like turned off is this clipboard history. So I turn that one off, close that, close. Once this is finished, you just press OK on that, and you have to wait until tweaks are finished, then you can close that. I'm just going to pause this for a moment. Sorry about that. My daughter was just saying good night to me. Okay, so the other thing I like to do is just run through these customization preferences. So I like dark mode. I hate that Bing search and start menu. I only want start menu to do what start menu is meant to do. Numlock on, I like that. I like to turn those messages off and recommendations in the start menu. So look at that super clean start menu that I've got. So yeah, turn off recommendations. And then you can just use it for what you want. This is Windows 11, by the way, and you can see the way it looks. It looks kind of like Windows 10. Yeah, cool. This is because of this utility. I don't like mouse acceleration or sticky keys. I don't like New Outlook. I sometimes turn that on, but in this build, I'm not. Show file extensions. Yeah, I like that. I like to see the file extensions. Search button in taskbar. Yeah, I like that there. See? Task view, yeah, I like that. Center taskbar items, no, I always turn that off. That's the reason why they're oriented to the left. Widgets in toolbar, I don't like the widgets, but you might like it, like the weather widget or whatever. And leave it, I don't touch any of that. Activate ultimate performance plan. That just basically allows Windows to use full your system, all the power saving type stuff stripped out. So you might not want to run that, but I do because I manually shut my computer down when I'm not using it. And when I'm using it, I want it to give me full power. I do not want any starter at all. I like everything buttery smooth. But then if you want to configure that, then you can just go to config and then just click on power panel. And this is just like a shortcut to some of your control panel type stuff. So power panel. Oh, whoops, I clicked the wrong one. Power panel. Yeah. So there's, you can see that Chris Titus Ultimate Power Plan's been added. Change plan settings. I like to make sure my display's definitely turned off, turns off after X amount of time because I've got an OLED display. Don't want it to burn in. And then you can go through and customize this, but I certainly don't. So I like that power plan. The other thing that I like here is in the updates, you can also press this one here, security updates. And essentially what that does is it just delays Windows updates from installing for 4 days. So that way, if there's one that's shitty and it creates problems, Microsoft will have pulled it off the update store before it even gets on your computer. So you'll only get ones that have actually been real world tested and are good. So yeah, that's that. So once that's all done, close. You can then close this because it'll finish the thing. Reboot the computer and yeah, enjoy, man. It'll be awesome. Cheers, brother.